Hey guys, thanks for watching again. Here we are in the part 3 of the tutorial. In this part I want to show you how to shrink this orange into the shape of bottle. So we already create our texture inside the Octane and Cinema 4D, and we have both bottle and orange, and let's continue from here. Okay, let's back to the normal layout to have more room to work with. There we go. Okay, right now the X-ray option is activate for the orange, so let's get rid of this, and also I'm gonna disable the lights for a while, that way we can see what's going on in the scene. So what we basically need to do here is to tell this orange to shrink in the shape of the bottle. For this purpose we need a deformer. You can go to the deformer menu and find Shrink Wrap Deformer. So let's give it to the orange because we want to shrink the orange, and in the attribute menu the first option is target object. That means that your deformer need an object to do the shrinking based on the geometry that you give to this option here. Based on the reference video that I show you in the last 2 seasons, let me show you quickly again. So you can see that we need this orange to be around this bottle. The bottle supposed to be inside this orange. So what we need to do is to create an object based on the bottle. So I'm going to copy this bottle. Let's rename it really fast to be more organized. This one is bottle, and I'm gonna copy this bottle and call it like bottle object, whatever. So okay, if you move this object, you can see this is the identical version of the bottle that we have. What we need to do is create one solid single object, because when you want to give it to the shrink wrap as a target object, you can't give it a folder. It needs to be one single part, single solid object. So let's get rid of this orange for a while to see what's going on here, and I'm gonna undo this. There you go. Now we are in the same position. Now you need to go to modeling tools and call one connect tool and give your second bottle that you create to the connect object. And after that we're going to make this editable, and it create a folder, and when you expand it you can see we only have one single object for entire the bottle, and there is some texture and selection tag here that we don't need it, so we're gonna delete this one. There we go. Okay, if you notice, you can see the axis is not in the same place as the object, so let's fix it really quick. I'm gonna change the layout to my personal layout that I'm using for Cinema 4D, because all the tools that I need are here. In case you don't know how to do this, you just need to push Shift C, and it's gonna pop up some kind of search window, and you can search for any kind of tools that you are looking for. For example, PSR, you can see it's the reset PSR comes up, and you just drag and drop it to the palette that you want. I want both objects to be in center of the scene, that way it's easier to work with. So I'm gonna choose one and reset PSR. It put it in the middle of the scene. If you check other windows here, let me reset this one as well. There you go. So now you have both them right in the middle of the scene. So we want this bottle object that we're going to use it as a target for shrinking deformer to be bigger than the main bottle and kind of cover it. So the first thing that we need to do is to scale it up a little bit, and let's just activate the X-ray to see what's going on inside the bottle. As you can see, the bottle is already covered the main bottle. Let's back to the render window to see if because right now it's not that obvious that if we cover it properly or not. So I'm gonna open the Octane layout windows to make sure that we are in the right spot. Just give me a second. There we go, and we push the render. Oh, we still can see the orange. That's fine. Let's make it invisible in the render window, and there we go. So let's see if everything is right. It seems that we totally cover it, but because the shrink modifier, it's not really do it accurately. I mean, it's not gonna feel all these small details, so it's safer to have the bottle a little bit bigger than original. So let's back to startup window, a startup layout here from the menu, and what we need to do is to make it, first of all, make it a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go back and make it a little bit bigger. Then maybe shrink it down a little bit. It's enough that it covers the main bottle that you have here. So in some parts, like the neck of the bottle, you can see we still see the main bottle here. So what we can do is go to the point mode and choose this part and push it down a little bit to cover it. Okay, now let's see what we got. Okay, I think it's good for a start, and if we can always get back to this and edit the object. So I'm going to the shrink wrap and give this object to the target object window here. Okay, now let's make the orange visible and see what happened. Okay, it's, as you can see, it's kind of works, but the polygons are kind of messed up. So the first thing that you need to change is go to your shrink wrap attribute and change the mode from along the normal to target axis. So as you can see, the polygons right now in the better shape, but unfortunately we can see part of this main bottle. So there's two ways you can fix this. Let's make the target object invisible first, and let's see what we have. So what we see here is the part of main object. The first thing that you can do is to make your target object a little bit bigger. But we don't want to, make it too big, because when you start to make the texture disappear, it's gonna be kind of weird when you have a lot of space between these two. So it's better to maintain the distance, but we have to fix this. Okay, the one way to fix it is go to the point mode and, for example, select the top part. Let me go to side view to choose it better. There you go. And we make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I think that's enough. Also the down part. We don't want a really dramatic change, just slightly to cover the main object. Okay, and let's check it out. We make the target object invisible, and okay, not bad. Okay, now you need to animate this transition between the fruit and shape of bottle. The easiest way is to work with strengths of this effect, and for example you can make a keyframe from 0% and then go a few frames forward and again put it in 100% and make another one. But right now we want to make the effect a little bit more interesting, so I want to use falloff. In Cinema 4D R20, the traditional way of falloff replaced with the field effect, and it's really powerful feature of R20 right now. You can mix and match all these different features that you see here and make totally new kind of falloff, and you have total control on it. For example, in this case, I want to choose one linear field, and there we go. So let me change the direction to Y because I want this effect to happen from top to the end, and we need to choose Y. Okay, and you can adjust the size. There you go. So when you go to the top, you have full orange, and when you go down, you can see that it transformed to the bottle. So this is a traditional way of fall off that we used to have in Cinema 4D, but let's make it more interesting. For example, I'm gonna choose another, let me see what we have here. For example, we're gonna choose a torus field. Okay, so let's see how it affects the object. In the attribute menu, you can control the radius and also the thickness of your torus, and you see how it affects the object. So I'm going a little bit smaller and thinner like this. In the field menu, when you go to the any kind of modifier in the falloff, you find the field menu, and here you have a layered base control on your all the fields. So it's kind of like a Photoshop layer, and you have, for example, opacity here. Right now I'm gonna decrease the amount of opacity that we have for this torus, and you can see the effect is going to be weaker. If you make the torus field child of linear field, you can move these two fields together and they works as a single follow for your object, and it makes really fun transition between two objects. As we follow the reference video, I'm not going to use this method right now. We just use one linear field and we animate it. So let's get rid of this two and just make another linear, and we go to the right to have the complete orange. We make one keyframe, going to frame, for example, 45. It depends on your animation. We move it to the other side and we have another keyframe. Now we have really simple animation here. Okay, there we go. So the thing that I want to cover in this part of the tutorial is how to gradually make this texture disappear and reveal the main bottle. So I want to use weight map to create this effect. So the first thing that you need to do is to select your object, and then we select the node mode, and we're going to select and set the vertex weight. And here with the value of 0, we're going to press OK, and you see that entire things become red. So let's get back to the model node, and as you can see, it's totally red. The first thing that you need to notice that which part of this bottle gonna be in front of your camera, because we need to start to make this texture disappear from the back. So let's make a quick render, and for this part of the orange that we have, it looks good, so I decided to use the other side to make the texture disappear. With that in mind, we're going to double click on the weight tag that create a vertex map that created here for us, and it gives us paint tool, and now we can paint on the object. So let's zoom in, and we need two or three small points. So I'm going to paint it here, 1 point here, and for example the another point right there. Now we're going to use another feature of Cinema 4D R20, that everything that you can, almost every option that you can see in the Cinema 4D R20 is come with a field. We're going to use a field for this vertex map as well. So I'm gonna use this use field option here, and it gives us one freeze option. Let's click on it, and what we want to do is to make these 2 points grow on entire the bottle or orange. Then we use this effect to tell the texture that you need to disappear from the back to front and reveal the actual bottle. So how are we gonna do this? In the weight map, we choose the field, and it automatically give us the freeze field here. So in the freeze, we're going to the mode and change it from none to grow. As you can see, the point that we painted here are kind of bigger right now. So you can control it with the radius here, and when you go up, you can see that it start growing, and eventually it covered entire the object. What we need to do here is we keep it on 0, and we go to the end of the animation that we already made. And now that we have the bottle already, we want to grow these 2 points. So we make one keyframe here, and we go to the end of animation, and we put it on 100 and make another keyframe. So sometimes you can see that it's not cover entire thing, so you can go above the 100, and you can go, for example, 150, or you can still see some orange color that shows that you're not entirely cover the object. So I'm going to something around 200, and I think it's good. So we make the keyframe again, and there we go, we have the animation for growing. You can see the animation that we create with the vertex map here, and it covers entire the bottle. So how we can use this vertex map to make the texture disappear? I'm gonna double click on the material that we already made in Octane, and in the node editor we need one vertex map editor, vertex map node. When you choose it, you can see that we have to introduce the one vertex map here. So I'm gonna choose the vertex map that we already created, and I'm gonna give it to the opacity. Let's shift to Octane layout to see what we're gonna do here. There we go, and let's give it a try. The weight map is already cover everything, so we see everything here completely. Let's go to the beginning, And one thing that here is obvious is we need to invert the effect because we want to have the orange, and after everything's get done it's going to be disappeared. Again, we're going to the material, and in the vertex map we choose invert the effect, and let's back to, yeah, there we go, we have the orange. And let's pause it to be friendly with the system, and we go a little bit further. Let's see what we get here. And in the middle of animation I'm gonna stop it and make a render to see what happened to the effect. Okay, here, based on what we did, the red part should be still show the texture, and the yellow part should be disappeared. So we're going to render it again. Yep, it works, and if we continue you can see that the texture is disappearing. And let's go watch it one more time in the live viewer in Octane to see what we get here. So this is the back. We have a camera in this side, and let's see what we get. Okay, the effect is doing its job, and after that we need to make this texture disappear from the back to front. And let me see. Yeah, there we go. And we have the bottle right now. So this was the end of this tutorial, and we already have all the effect that we need for this video. In the next one we're going to assemble all this asset together and set the camera, and I show you the way that we render in Octane and different passes that you need for compositing. So see you in the next one.